The village of Dolton is more than $3.5 million in the hole. Mayor Tiffany Henry is accused of misusing money, and today she's nowhere to be found.
Tara Molina spent the day in Dolton following the investigation into Henry's spending.
Jim and Marie, former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot is the special investigator in this case. And like we first told you last night, not only did she find the village of Dolton is in significant debt, but she also found the village's credit card spending is out of control. Mayor Tiffany Henry didn't respond to any of my requests today, and I'm told she's not in the building.
Just when you thought you'd heard it all, this small town is making headlines for all the wrong reasons. Mayor Tiffany Henry, once hailed as a leader for change, is now at the center of a financial scandal that's got the whole community buzzing. Over $3.5 million in the hole. How did we get here? Dolton, a seemingly quiet village, is now embroiled in a financial disaster of epic proportions. The once promising future of its residents is now clouded by corruption, poor leadership, and the misuse of taxpayer funds. This is the kind of story that starts with a bang and leaves a trail of questions in its wake. How could this happen? Who's responsible for what has been described as one of the most reckless spending sprees in Dolton's history? Stick around, because we're about to take you behind the scenes of a political scandal that's shaking the very foundations of this community. Nestled in the heart of Dolton, a village known for its tight-knit community, things weren't always like this. Mayor Tiffany Henry was elected with big promises. New opportunities, better services, a brighter future for the people of Dolton. But as it turns out, behind those promises was a financial nightmare waiting to unravel. And when you turn the corner, there's the scandal. In 2019, Tiffany Henry took office with high hopes and a slew of ambitious plans to rejuvenate the village. Dolton was ready for change, and residents trusted their new leader to steer them toward a more prosperous future. But as we all know, not every story has a happy ending. Fast forward to today, and the village is facing a financial crisis that
You're having the same reaction that we did when we saw it.
Most people never saw coming. Despite the promises of better infrastructure, improved public services, and financial stability, it didn't take long for cracks to begin appearing in Dolton's financial system. The first signs of trouble came when the village's general fund dipped into the red, leading many to question how taxpayer money was being spent. But these were just the early warning signs. What would come next would leave the entire community stunned. And of course, the fund was spent for the fundamental work to build the site. According to Copland, they were growing slowly. The problem started when Special Investigator Lori Lightfoot, former Chicago mayor, was called in to dig into Dolton's finances. What she uncovered was shocking. As of May 31st, the village's general fund had a negative balance of $3.65 million, an amount that seemed almost impossible for a community of this size. But that's not all. As Lightfoot dug deeper, she discovered taxpayer funds were being spent on lavish dinners, extravagant trips, and self-promoting ads. The spending was spiraling out of control, and Mayor Henry nowhere to be found. It all started when the village's trustees grew concerned about Dolton's finances and reached out to a familiar face, former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot. With her reputation for taking on tough challenges, Lightfoot was asked to investigate Dolton's spending and get to the bottom of the financial mess. What she uncovered shocked not just the trustees, but the entire town. As of May 31st, the village's general fund had a staggering negative balance of $3.65 million. This wasn't just a minor accounting issue. This was a catastrophic financial failure that begged the question, where did all the money go? Lightfoot's investigation didn't stop there. The spending habits of Mayor Tiffany Henry's administration were, to put it bluntly, out of control. Taxpayer funds were being poured into lavish dinners at expensive restaurants, extravagant trips, and self-promoting billboard ads that served only to glorify the mayor's image. In fact, Lightfoot's report revealed that some of the spending was so excessive, it raised eyebrows even in a city known for its political scandals. But the most troubling part of all was that Mayor Tiffany Henry didn't respond to repeated interview requests. She was nowhere to be found. Her office was unresponsive, and village employees claimed they had no idea when or even if she would be coming back to the office. And it didn't stop there. Lightfoot's investigation revealed disturbing patterns in the village's credit card usage. In one day, over $40,000 was spent on Amazon, with no receipts provided. It gets worse. 2 police officers racked up 6-figure overtime payments, with one officer's OT amounting to over $100,000. And who's responsible for these mismanaged funds? The village leaders, who are now refusing to comment on the matter. As Lightfoot continued to dig deeper, the list of questionable spending practices only grew. One of the most shocking revelations came when investigators uncovered $40,000 worth of Amazon purchases in a single day. This wasn't a clerical error. This was money being spent without accountability. The purchases were made using the village's credit card, but no receipts were provided to explain where the money went or what it was spent on. But it didn't stop there. The investigation uncovered another disturbing pattern: police overtime. Specifically, 2 Dolton police officers had racked up 6-figure overtime payments, with one officer reportedly earning over $108,000 in overtime alone. To make matters worse, the village had failed to pay its monthly expenditures because of a lack of available cash. How could this happen in a community that was supposed to be focused on financial responsibility? And the most troubling part? The village leaders, including Mayor Henyard, were refusing to comment on the matter. Their silence only deepened the sense of mistrust and unease among Dolton residents, who were left wondering if their taxpayer dollars had been squandered. The tension in Dolton reached a boiling point at a packed community meeting Thursday night. Residents were outburst, and there were outbursts after outburst as Lightfoot presented her findings. The villagers were demanding answers. They wanted to know how their money was spent and why their elected officials were not being held accountable. In the wake of these revelations, Dolton's community was in turmoil. A packed meeting was held at the village hall, where residents gathered to voice their anger and frustration. Outbursts erupted as Lightfoot presented her findings, with many community members demanding answers. They were tired of the secrecy, tired of the poor financial decisions, and tired of being kept in the dark. They wanted to know how their hard-earned money was being spent and, more importantly, why they were left with such a massive deficit. The emotional toll on Dolton residents was palpable. This was a community that had placed its trust in its leaders, only to have that trust betrayed by the very people who were supposed to be protecting their interests. How could the village's leaders let this happen? And why was no one being held accountable? As the scandal deepens, the people of Dolton are left with one question: where did all the money go? Will Mayor Tiffany Henyard ever come back to answer for these allegations, or is she hiding something even darker? Stay tuned as we continue to follow the investigation and bring you the latest updates on this unfolding story. What do you think? Should Dolton residents hold their leaders accountable? Let us know in the comments below. As the investigation into Dolton's financial crisis continues, the residents are left with a crucial question: where did all the money go? The answers may be hidden, but the public outcry is growing louder by the day. As Lightfoot's investigation heats up, the pressure is mounting on Mayor Tiffany Henyard and the other village leaders to come clean about what's really going on. Will the mayor ever return to face the allegations? Is there more to this story than meets the eye? The truth is still out there, but Dolton's residents aren't going to stop until they get the answers they deserve. This is far from over. Stay tuned for more updates and be sure to follow us for the latest developments. The story of Dolton's financial scandal is just beginning. What do you think? Should Dolton residents hold their leaders accountable for their actions?